Next up, he's been in Congress for 44 years, and the voters of Massachusetts are sending Senator Ed Markey back for 6 more after a decisive win Tuesday night. But while most believed yesterday that the balance of power in the Senate would remain essentially unchanged, it turns out Georgia may be playing double spoiler. One Senate race there will be heading to a runoff in January, and as of this taping, the other race there might as well, which would offer a possible path for the Democrats to take the Senate in a tie. That is, if there's a Vice President Harris who would act as a tiebreaker. Senator Ed Markey joins us now. Senator, congratulations on your win.
Thank you, Jim. Great to see you and Margery. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. And congratulations as well, Senator Markey. So
thank you.
One of the pieces of good news in this election is that there was a huge turnout all across the country of 18 to 34-year-olds. What do you think that was about?
Well, you know, we saw in the Democratic primary in Massachusetts, we saw a 50% increase in 18 to 34-year-old votes from 2018 to 2020, a 50% increase. It went from 12% of the total vote to 19% of the total vote in Massachusetts from 2018 to 2020. So we think that is something that actually occurred as a larger trend across the whole country. On election day, and I think it is something that goes to how energized young people are about the issues of racial justice, climate crisis, the need for everyone to get health care. There's a really engaged younger generation that we have not seen in recent political memory, and I don't think they're going away. I think they're in for keeps. They really care, and we saw it again yesterday. And I'm looking forward to partnering with them because they were a big part of my victory in the years ahead, especially on the climate crisis, on racial justice issues.
Senator, Margery's the cup half full kind of person. I'm the cup fully empty kind of person. Regardless of outcome, the predicted blue wave did not materialize. Democrats have fewer seats in the House. It's a long shot that you'll have a majority via tie in the Senate. We don't know what the ultimate outcome on the presidential side is. Do the results suggest that the Democrats as a party should be re-examining their message?
Well, I will just say this. I'm a Margery kind of a person. I would say it was a long shot that I would win this year. By the way, it was a long shot that Joe Biden would be our nominee and that Joe Biden would win just a few short months ago. His political funeral had already been presided over by every single pundit in America. So from my perspective, you know, I operate under the premise that you have to fight for everything that you believe in. That's the only way you put together winning coalitions. And so on the Green New Deal, Medicare for All, racial justice, I'm going to continue to advocate. Again, we're within a cusp right now of taking over the Senate. That's with 2 extra seats from Georgia. We'll see what happens there. We control the House of Representatives, and the Democrats are most likely to control the presidency. So, you know, there's a time to reevaluate, but I would not think on a day like today that is something that's appropriate. The Democrats are actually winning right now, not quite to the level that the polling indicated that we would, but nonetheless, it is a victory for Democrats.
And yet at the same time, Senator Markey, we have a president of the United States who is still in the running here, who's fomented racism, who put kids in cages, who's ridiculed the disabled, who ridiculed veterans, who gave their lives for this country, and he got 70 million votes. So what does that say about our country?
Well, it continues to say that our country has been divided. Harry Truman, it was a nail-biter in 48. Jack Kennedy, nail-biter. Humphrey versus Nixon, 68, nail-biter. Carter versus Ford, nail-biter. Gore versus Bush, nail-biter. Clinton versus Trump, nail-biter. The country has been divided since 1948. It continues to be divided. That's why the Democrats have to work hard to make sure that we get out all of our votes, which is what we were really focusing upon today, which is why the 18 to 34 vote, I think, is going to turn out to be so critical in the advances which we have made.
But Senator Markey, wouldn't you say President Trump is a little bit different than those? This race is a little bit...
I don't deny that he's the most racist and criminally negligent president that we've seen, but he's just tapping in to an already existing a body of votes, pool of votes that have been there. And we saw it in 2016. We saw it again in 2020. In other words, he didn't. We thought that all of that had been dialed down. The racism, the appeal to xenophobia, anti-women rhetoric. But the truth is that when we lifted up the cover, we saw that it hadn't been dialed down at all. It was there the whole time. And what Trump did was put the activating fluid on it in 2016, and he did so again, and it just shows how fundamentally divided the country is.
Senator Markey, let's assume, for argument's sake, I know you're hoping that the 2 Georgia Senate seats come through. Let's assume, for argument's sake, Mitch McConnell continues to lead the Senate. And we know that a President Biden can do a lot by executive action. He can rejoin, for example, the Paris Climate Accord, which I know would mean a lot to you and a lot of people in this country. But he can't raise taxes. He can't eliminate tax breaks for the wealthy from Donald Trump to fund all of the ambitious programs he talked about. So if McConnell does maintain his leadership of the Senate, is this just 2 more years of gridlock in Washington?
Well, there is a big difference because Joe Biden will be president. He does know how to work across the aisle. He has a magical, legendary ability to do so. And that will be our challenge. We'll control the House. We can create an agenda over there. We're very close to a majority in the Senate. And under this hypothetical that McConnell still is the majority leader, we will be in a much stronger position with Joe Biden as president to try to find ways of crossing the aisle. That's Joe Biden's modus operandi. And by the way, I have 550 laws that have been signed by presidents, and I had to find a Republican each time. So I will be working towards that goal as well.
Can we talk shorter term, though, just for 2 seconds? Regardless of who controls the Senate, regardless of who ends up winning the presidency, should the American people expect to wait till at least February until there's an adequate relief package?
I hope not. My belief is that our first real opportunity to show the American people that their government can work for them is that the Democrats and Republicans come back in a lame duck session and put together a package to provide the health care and economic relief which families across this country so desperately need. We're heading into a winter spike, no matter what the president says about Tony Fauci. He's right. And I think that message post-election is something that gives us an opportunity to begin to work in a bipartisan fashion, because that's the only way ultimately that we can help every American family.
Senator Markey, we only have about 30 seconds left, but you're a senator, obviously, now, just sailed to re-election. You've been in Congress for all these years. Anything you'd like to add to your resume before you relax by the beach?
Well, I always wanted to be Major League Baseball commissioner, but I think being a United States Senator from Massachusetts is just the greatest honor that anyone can have. As you know, my father was a milkman, drove a truck for the Hood Milk Company, and his son is a United States Senator. And I take that very seriously. And so there really isn't any more that I could ask than this great honor that the people of Massachusetts have bestowed upon me. Thank you.
Well, let me just say also, Senator, don't even dream of retiring until you finish this work you started on daylight saving time. That's a directive from one of your constituents.
I'll just finish on this. Yes,
yeah.
I was able to add the weekend for Halloween, so that daylight savings time would not start until then, and I moved daylight savings time to the beginning of March from the end of April. But I'm not done. This is something that you can do on a bipartisan basis, and I'm going to work in the next 2 years to extend it even further. I do believe that the one thing that makes the corners of everyone's mouth turn upwards is the extra daylight in the evening, and I'm going to try to get that done.
Amen.
On a bipartisan basis.
Senator Markey, congratulations and good luck in the years ahead. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.